Okay guys, let's get right into this tutorial. First, I'm going to start by quickly moisturizing my face with this very lightweight moisturizer. I actually recently got sent this and I absolutely love it. This is from FACETHEORY and it is their Supergel moisturizer. It is oil-free and it says it's a light hydrating gel with aloe vera, green tea extract, niacinamide, and vitamin C. So I absolutely love all those ingredients, especially the niacinamide, because I find that really helps my skin. It really helps like any blemishes in my skin. And I love the fact that this is like super lightweight. So it's just a gel moisturizer. It's clear. You don't need too much product. About a pea-size amount. Then onto clear hands. I'm just going to pat that in my skin. And this is a really nice base before you do any makeup because it's so lightweight, but it kind of lets the foundation adhere to the skin much nicer. And it has really good like calming ingredients. I just absolutely love it. Okay, so now that that's setting onto the face, we're gonna go in with our face primer. So for that, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite primers. This is especially great if you have larger pores, which I do, especially in my T-zone area and on my nose. So this is the Makeup Forever Pore Minimizer Step 1 Primer. I'm just gonna place a little dab of that and concentrate it onto my T-zone. I think I put a little bit too much on my finger, but it's okay, the more the merrier. But you really do only need a tiny amount. I'm just gonna kind of spread that out, but it instantly just like fills in any pores. And that is what I live for, because I do have large pores, unfortunately, but I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but in person I definitely notice the difference. My pores just kind of look like blurred, which is what the product claims it does. So love that product. It's honestly one of my favorites. So now I'm gonna go right into foundation, and I was actually repurchasing one of my favorite SHEGLAM foundations, the full coverage one. I absolutely love that one. So I actually saw that they had a little sample size of their new SHEGLAM Skinfluencer Full Coverage Foundation Balm. So I actually just wanted to try it. I think this like sample was $1. So this is in the shade called Honey, and it is their sample of the foundation balm. So I'm actually very excited to try it for you guys. First impressions, I guess. And if I do like it, I will be purchasing a full size in this, but I think it's so cool that they allow you to get little samples online. So as I said, this was in the shade called Honey because I am more tan, so I wanted to try one of their like more tan shades. So we will see how this applies. And it is very loose feeling, like it feels like super creamy, and it's very thick looking. So I'm just gonna dab a few dabs where I normally will put foundation. I kind of just want to see how much it covers, and I'm just going in with a damp beauty sponge. This is the Tarte beauty sponge, and I just washed it and made sure that it's nice and damp so it'll be easier to blend out the foundation. I'm just going in with patting motions. So the coverage is really nice, and I really do like the finish of it. It's like very slick to the touch, but when you blend it onto the face, it just like feels really nice. It like settles a little bit. It's still glowy, as you guys can probably tell, but I'm really liking the coverage and like the finish of it. Alright, so that is the foundation, and I'm really loving it. I love the coverage. I love the way it looks in person. It like blends into the skin like super seamlessly. It does not look cakey at all, but it like gives such a full coverage look, which I really like. It's definitely like medium to, it's like a medium buildable to full coverage, which is my favorite type of foundation. So next, I'm going to go into one of my all-time favorite concealers. This is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer in the shade called Medium Beige. I'm just going to place a little bit of that onto my under eyes. And then I'm just going to use the pointed side of that beauty sponge and blend it out. So now to set the under eyes, I'm going to go in with this ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that powder with my damp beauty sponge and just place it on the under eyes and a little bit on my eyelids just to set any creasing. So I'm just going to let that do its thing for a little bit, and then I'm just going to lightly set my foundation. Today I'm going to be using this Tarte Smooth Operator Amazonian Clay Tinted Pressed Finishing Powder in the shade Tan. And I'm going to take that with this Morphe E51 brush. I'm just going to set my foundation a little bit because I find that this just helps everything blend in nicer, especially when I'm using a lot of powder products, which I will be using powder, blush, and everything. So I just like to give this a little bit of a set, especially in the summertime when my skin is much more oily. Okay, now I'm going to bronze my face a little bit. I'm going to use this Morphe JH02 brush here with this Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion bronzer in the shade 10M. This is just adding some nice color back into the face. It's a very like subtle bronzer. Even this color blends in very seamlessly, and I just love this formula. This look is super simple, so even for the eyes, I'm just going to place a little bit of bronzer with a fluffy blending brush just to contour the lids a little bit. And that is all we're going to do for any type of shadow. This is just like my super quick, everyday type of look when I cannot be bothered to put on too much makeup or go crazy with like my eyes. I'm just taking any leftover and lightly going on the under eye just to smooth everything out. I'm going to contour my nose a bit. I'm going to be using the Sigma Precision Tapered P86 brush here, and I'm going into this bronzer. I kind of like to mix those two. This is from a NARS palette called Bord de Plage, something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I don't know if this is limited edition, but I'm just obsessed with these two bronzers here for contouring my nose. I don't know why, I just always go back to them. So of course you guys can use any contour powder of your choice, but I love these two specifically for my nose. It looks a little bit crazy at first, but I'm just taking that dark shade and just putting the two lines there, a little bit on the tip, and then a little bit in the middle there. And I'm kind of bringing it towards my eyes, just tapering it off there. And I like to go in with another brush. This is, it doesn't have the name on it anymore, but it's kind of like a flat brush like that. And I just like to blend out that contour. As you guys can see, I just blended any harsh lines. You still get that definition, but it's not as intense. Then to lighten up the sides a little bit, I'm going to go back in with this sponge here and into this light setting powder from Tarte. And I'm just going to kind of like pack that on there and set the edges a little bit. So just where we have a little bit of that darkness, I'm just going to lighten the sides a little bit. Sometimes I will skip this step if I'm just too lazy and if it doesn't look too dark along the edges, but I feel like today it looked a little bit dark, so I'm just adding in this little extra step that I sometimes will omit. I'm just gonna let that do its thing, let it set a little bit. And while that's setting, it's time for the fun part, which is the blush, which is one of my favorite parts. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe blush palette in the shade Warm Master 8W. So this is also an older palette. I think that they still sell it, but I'm just obsessed with this color here. This is like a really gorgeous orangey coral shade. And I'm gonna go in with this Morphe JH06 brush and put a little bit of that shade onto the apples of my cheeks. So that shade is super pigmented, so I'm just kind of placing it roughly, but we're gonna blend that out a lot after. I'm just kind of packing it in and not really trying to be too precise with how I'm blending it, because we will be blending that out a lot better after. And another one of my favorites is this ColourPop pressed powder blush in the shade Short. So this came with one of their collections, and I'm not sure if you can buy it online, but I'm just obsessed with this pink color and I always use it. So I know that sucks for people who can't find it, but any like bright pink like this, if there's like a dupe anywhere, let me know, because I love it. So I'm just gonna layer that on top. And I'm also gonna blend a little bit on my nose, just to make it look like it's more sun-kissed. Okay, so it looks pretty crazy now, but don't worry, trust the process. I'm gonna go back in with this brush that we used the powder with. I used to set my face with the powder, and I'm just gonna kind of pat it over the blush. So with any leftover product, it's just gonna like blend everything together. And I'm even taking away that light powder that we used on the under eyes and near the nose. So I'm just kind of wiping everything away, slowly blending in that blush. So as you can see, it already looks much more blended and diffused. Now I'm just gonna highlight my nose. I'm gonna use this Morphe JH42 little brush here. I'm gonna go into one of these highlighters in the palette. I'm gonna use this like middle gold one there. I'm just gonna take that on the bridge and tip of my nose. Also put a little bit on the inner corner of your eyes to open them up a bit. Okay, now to quickly do my brows, I'm gonna do like the feathered look. And I'm not putting too much into them. This is just like a very quick brow job here. I'm just using a little spoolie and brushing my brow hairs up. And since I have pretty thick brows, sometimes I will just brush them up and leave it at that. And that's what I'm gonna be doing today. I'm just gonna help set them with this SHEGLAM highbrow shaping wax. So this is a really cute little product here, and it's very easy to use. I'm just going to take a little bit of that and brush my spoolie into it. That's literally it. I just brush them up the way I like it. And now that's it for the face. I'm just going to put on some lip products now. I've been super into gloss, so this is going to be a glossy lip. First, I'm going to start by lining my lips with this LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade called Cafe. Taking it all over my lips, but concentrating more towards the outer line of my lip. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of this ColourPop Fresh Kiss Lip Cream in the shade called BB Spice. And then to add a little bit of a pinky gloss look, I'm going to go in with this BUXOM lip gloss. This is in the shade, this is their full-on plumping lip polish in the shade called Dolly Glitz. And it is a really pretty pink with some like golden shimmers inside. Okay, so that is it, guys. That is kind of like my everyday makeup routine when I just don't want to do like anything on my eyes, but I still want like that full face glowy type of look. I really love this look. I just like the simplicity of like the no eyeshadow really and no mascara, and just very simple, but I focus a lot on the skin and the blush, so you just look like you're glowing, you look like you're healthy, but it doesn't look like you tried too hard. So this has just been like my everyday running errands type of look when I want to like wear a little bit more makeup, but I don't want to go like full glam. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!